Well, hello. It's Monday. It's day 2 of Super Strong Style 16, 2024. Yes, I am Shawn. That is David the Smart Mark. And ladies and gentlemen, the American bracket has held. I had only one wrong pick in the first round, and we're here for day 2. David, what were your thoughts coming into day number 2?
I can't wait. As we record, 2.5 hours to go. That day one, and I've got a couple of criticisms. It wouldn't be me if I didn't. But day one is one of the best British shows I've seen, bar none. Bar none. I went to all the ICW Hydro shows. I went to Brixton Academy to watch Progress, which was one of my favourite shows up to this point. But that yesterday was from top to tail. Even the guys I don't like performed yesterday, and I'm going to go and heap praise on some guys I've criticised in the past. There was a shocking end. There was some great moments made by the crowd. There's some great wrestling. It was Progress. If that's the mark, they've set their standard very, very high. They're going to do well to beat that on day 2.
Well, David, we're here to preview day 2 and recap day 1. So we're going to start with a quick recap of day number 1. And my first matchup for you was Man Like Doris did advance over Angela Blanc in a 12-minute and 10-second match, according to Kate's seat. David, I saw one highlight of this match, and it was like the 360 onto the floor from Blanc
Yeah,
onto Man Like Doris, and I thought, oh my god, what a freaking spot! I want to go back and see this match.
right. The thing is with this, and this is where Progress did well yesterday, they got their match placement spot on. Absolutely spot on. This was a perfect little opener. The hometown favourite, the company favourite went through. Blanc got a good showing, and this is a common theme from this show. There was nobody that maybe was disgraced in defeat, and Progress did it well. Everyone got their stuff in, but the correct person for the company went forward in a good match. And there are going to be better things, I think, for Doris today.
Okay, so the second match we can talk about is Ricky Knight Jr. defeated Jack Bandicoot, who was the replacement for Simon Miller, as Simon came down and mentioned that he was not cleared to be able to go in this match. We wish Simon Miller a speedy recovery.
Yeah, we do actually. Sorry, I don't wish injury on anyone, but I've got to be honest. There was an evil little bit of me that was like, yes. Anyway, they brought out the whole point of the angle was, and this was bonus. We got bonus Robbo. Well done, Progress. Bonus Robbo. Robbo came down and absolutely destroyed verbally Simon Miller in a promo. And the funny thing was, they put the two guys up together, and I did pay Simon a compliment in the fact that he does look like a wrestler. As jacked as Robbo is, he's only little, bless. He's only ickle. But the beauty of that was it enhanced the Malik angle, and they were able to announce for the next chapter Malik versus Robbo for the Proteus title. However, then they brought out Jack Bandicoot, which went down well with the crowd. I have to say, the crowd, with one or two exceptions, were spot on with this show today. The Progress crowd could easily be criticised, but yesterday there was a couple of priceless moments that they were superb, and I'm going to hold my hand up when we get to them. But this was good. Jack Bandicoot got all of his little running round offense in early doors, but then it turned into a bit of a squash, as it should do. Ricky Knight wins. 736 looks strong, and it is still my belief, and I said it right from day one, RKJ, Luke Jacobs final, and I've got all the more reason to believe after day one that I'm bang on with that.
Well, on contrary, my friend, Ricky Knight Jr., yes, he's going to advance through his side of the bracket. That other side of the bracket, I'm still holding with my choice.
Yeah.
Tate Mayfair. I got to say, I called this right. Now he has the hardest challenge of his side of the bracket, as we can go ahead and say Eddie Dennis defeated TK Cooper in 7 minutes and 46 seconds. And I know there's one happy Brit over there. as Eddie advances to the second round to face Kid Like Us 2.
Mate, this was brilliant. I mean, they kept it short and sweet, but the crowd in this were brilliant because it was a face match. No two ways about it. The crowd loves both. The crowd gave respect to both. Dueling chants. The wrestlers lapped it up, and for 7.5 minutes, just emotionally invested in it. And personally, and I mean it's just personally, TK Cooper's a hell of a talent, but I'm just really glad everyone's favourite Welsh headmaster went through. I'm just yeah, because I love the man.
Well, I already kind of spoiled this, but Tate Mayfair defeated Casey Navarro 7 minutes and 46 seconds.
And if there's any doubt that Tate was going through to face Eddie Dennis, you got that early doors because Eddie's celebrating and Tate comes out early. He comes out early for the match. Typical dastardly heel. And do you know what? That Progress crowd nearly cheered him. There's a couple of moments where they nearly cheered him. There's some great spots in this where Tate heels on Casey Navarro's number one fan who got introduced. He got a crowd, but it was just really well done. Tate Mayfair's is just the dogs. But unfortunately, I think now there's some hints at the way they were going. I hope they keep Tate Mayfair strong because he is wonderful. Great match, right result, and some great spots in that.
Okay, so what I was thinking going into day one would be the match of day one. Shelton Benjamin defeated Leon Slater in 5 minutes and 35 seconds as the foreign talent advances past Leon Slater.
Right, I've got a bone to pick with Progress Management with this one. You made this, I'm nearly 60, right? I've seen a lot, I've watched wrestling since I was probably 4 or 5. This made me cry. I'm going to hold my hands up. I'm going to hold my hands up. The standout moment of this, and this might get lost to some American listeners, so please bear with me. I'll try and put it over so you understand. The crowd were all over Shelton in a good way. They were singing his song, but they sang to him based on the gold standard gimmick. They sang to him the entire song of Spandau Ballet, Gold. And word for word, you could tell, you could hear the lyrics. They were all full voice. They were clapping along. And I think he genuinely confused Sheldon, who didn't know quite what was going on, who didn't realize that he was being paid a huge tribute by this audience. Anyway, yeah, surprisingly, they've done the import. They've done the import thing. Shelton advances over Leon Slater. Shelton leaves the ring. The respect angle is done. Leon Slater gets a mic and says, "I won't keep you long." But he thanks his mum. He thanks his girlfriend, and there was someone else he thanked. Oh, please excuse me, I've forgotten. And no, it was Shelton Benjamin himself, and said, "Being a young black lad growing up, he's my hero. He's the one who's inspired me to keep going." And it was getting really, I was getting really emotional. And then all of a sudden, Shelton comes back out, and I don't think he was meant to, but he did. He came out to give him a hug, raise his hand, and the whole crowd just stood up and applauded. And I was gone. At that point, I was completely gone. It was brilliantly done. And fair play to both the talents. But yeah, Shelton Benjamin advances on that. I'm not going to talk about it because if I see it again, I'll go again because it was awesome.
Okay, so we'll go into the next match. Kid Like Us 2 defeats G Money in 9 minutes and 24 seconds as my storyline continues. Kid Like Us 2. Can he do what Kid Like Us did 1 year ago to today, David?
No, you know he can't. However, I'm going to eat some humble pie here. I was dreading this match, absolutely dreading it. What I did quite like is the commentating team, who were on point all night. Ollie, and SoCal Val. You can't argue with it. Although I'm going to talk about SoCal Val if you'll allow me to towards the end of this segment. They pushed Kid Like Us 2 up as having no chance against Gene Money, no chance. And we've always seen it a little bit differently. Both of us, we both predicted that Like Us 2 would go through. What was good? The match was good. This was after the interval. Perfect placement on behalf of Progress. Really, really impressed with that. And it worked. It worked, and it was a way, way better match than I anticipated, and the right result as well. Now, an angle laid at the end, if you haven't seen it, at the end of it, Gene Money plays very disappointed, very well. I say not his fan, not a fan of his at all, but this is the best Gene Money I've ever seen since I've been watching the geezer. Lays his Gene Money championship with Gene Money out in the ring, gets on the mic, and simply says, "Don't think I can do this anymore." Gets set up, walks out. And they lay an angle with on guest commentary for this match was a British comedian, TV personality called Rufus Hound. You know what I'm like with my British celebrities. I've got no issue with Rufus Hound being involved in Progress. He's a good comedian. He's a funny guy. And he's good for Progress to grab for a bit of pub. But he follows him off because he's involved today. Rufus Hound is involved today in the Battle Royal. So, all well and good. It's all good. Very well done. I have to say it. Not a fan of Gene Money, and I've criticised him heavily before. This was well done.
Okay, so we'll move on to the next match. As your favorite, your pick to advance to the final and win the whole tournament, Luke
Yep.
Jacobs defeats Mike D 10 minutes and 58 seconds.
Right. When do I start with this? This was my only disappointment in the first round matches. Mike D, what a beast. Oh, what a beast. He's put together. He's someone that AEW or the WWE would love. Luke Jacobs comes out, and for some reason, for me, send the hate wherever you want, the match didn't gel. No issue with Mike D, no issue with Luke Jacobs. Just one of those things, the match didn't gel. And I'd hazard a pound to a pinch that if you asked both of them, they would have thought it would have been better. Right result, Luke Jacobs goes through. Unbeknownst to me, at this point, I'm just happy Luke Jacobs has gone through and thought, well, we'll discard that. It happens. It's wrestling. It happens. Sometimes two geezers don't gel. Luke Jacobs goes through. Right result. However, boy, have I got some Luke Jacobs to come that makes me even more in love with him.
Well, let's finish up the first round here as Mike Santana defeats Connor Mills in 11 minutes and 57 seconds. And David, this was the one match I got wrong.
Yeah, I mean, but the thing is, we went with the input rule. We looked at the weekend input rules. I didn't expect either input to go over, but they did. And fine, that's absolutely fine. I've got no issue with that. And yeah, all right. I went on far too much. I was too smarky in my booking. Let's just put it like that. So really good match. Connor Mills went heelish towards the end. Connor Mills put some muscle on as well. Looked really good in this. Excuse me. Santana goes over. Santana gives a heartfelt speech thanking the Progress crowd at the end. Gets a standing ovation. Off he goes. Really looking forward to seeing. And it was a good match. Really solid.
Okay, so the last match of the day for day one was your Progress World Championship as Kid Lycos defeats Mark Haxton's. And at this time, David sends me this message like he was very happy with the show. I'm going like, is this the correct David or has somebody hacked his account?
You hadn't a clue, had you, mate? Right. The story of this match is Lycos is the underdog. Haskins, they did one of their promo videos beforehand that they do so well. So well. Really good match. I can't fault it. Not a fan of Lycos by any stretch, but I get my happiness pill at the end. And again, I would have Haskins as champion all day long, along with Damo. But I know who the next. I already know who the next Progress World Champion is going to be, and I'm not upset at that. There was some shenanigans. Vicky was involved. Lycos too. And then, surprisingly enough, Lycos wins with the help of the one and only Luke Jacobs, who interferes. Lycos wins. Haskins sneaks out of the ring. And I was just like going, hang on. Jacobs gets in the ring. raises his hand, they hug, the commentators are all gushing, and all of a sudden I'm thinking, no, are they? At this point, I hadn't seen it coming until this point, and I'm thinking, no, they're not going to. They're not going to. Are they going to? Raises his hand again and lariats the living hell out of Lycos. And it was so perfect, the crowd didn't know what to do. There's that awkward 20-second, 30 seconds. You watch it, when you see this, there is the crowd do not know what to do until they suddenly decide that they are rightly horrified at their lovely champion. And what, Luke, what have you done? The commentators play it off well, but the best bit, no. Shawn, well, the best bit. The crowd then kick into gear and start singing all these anti-Jacob songs, and I can't repeat on a family show. And some of this, what Luke's answer, I can't repeat on a family show, but it's everything that I've said. He turns around, he looks at him, and he's slapping the out of him. How can you be champion? Look at you. You know, you're a match that you're this, you're that, you're other. You haven't got. And then he turns on the crowd. He said, I just wish I could politely go back to Manchester. He didn't use that vernacular. I don't want to stay down there in this. He's using Anglo-Saxon language here, and I know you don't like it, and I'm trying to respect it, but he's leveling this crowd, and I was just cheering. Absolutely, I know I'm not supposed to, but it's what I've wanted to say all along. Luke Jacobs said it, and he's going to win this tournament, and he's going to go then and face Lycos for that title, and he should win it. And I hope Progress Booking, if you see this video, brilliant, 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 brilliant. Now, I'm going to back up this because I've got to get this in. The only minor criticism, and it will come back to later on when we review day 2, get rid of Bakewell. Please, please get rid of Bakewell. And I'll tell you why. I'm going to be constructive here. That show was so damn good with emotional, physically charged, really good moments. It didn't need a unique brand of unfunny comedy. It really didn't. It needed a serious ring announcer invested in the product. I'll give you an example. When he's introducing Eddie Dennis and TK Cooper, the crowd are going nuts, and he spoils it. He absolutely spoils it. You wait till you see it, you'll know exactly what I mean. He spoils it. He ruins it. Get SoCal Val in there to do the ring announcing. Or invest a little bit of money, bring down Simon Cassidy from Scotland. He wears a suit, he ring announces. That's it. He wears a suit and he ring announces, and he does it properly. Only criticism, but backup effect here. The quality of the show this time didn't spoil it for me, because this show is must see.
Well, David, I kind of do agree with you because I would probably prefer SoCal Val to be the ring announcer for Progress Wrestling on a more regular basis. Because, like you said, I'm not the biggest fan of the haha comedy of the gentleman. He has kind of grown on me, but still, if I had to choose one between the other, give me SoCal Val.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. I mean, don't get me wrong, she's brilliant on commentary. You know, she's whatever she does, she's a real asset to the company. Unfortunately, and I don't want to be, because I mean, I praise, people I don't normally like. So I'm honest. If I see it and I like it, I'm not going to. But no, that's the only minor criticism I've got of that entire show. Brilliant show, brilliant show.
Okay, David. So my first question, well, actually, my last question for you for day 1 was, what was your favorite match?
Wow. The standout one was the title match. It was excellent. It just went on a little bit too long, but for the shock ending, you've got to see it. You've just got to see it. It's brilliantly done. And then you can have really good honourable mentions to Eddie Dennis and TK Cooper, Shelton Benjamin, Leon Slater. That I'm just thinking, oh, equal. That there was no bad match there. That was the beauty of it. There was no bad match in that. There was no toilet break, no tea break. It was all good.
Well, David, we're going to put day one to bed now. We're going ahead and go look forward to day two.
Yep.
And let's go ahead. We're going to start with the ladder match. Who wins the four-way ladder match for the Progress Women's World Title? And I gotta say, I know both our answers. It's short, simple, and sweet. It's going to be Rio retains here, right, David?
Yeah. Best women's wrestler in the British Isles and possibly Europe, and even someone who should be picked up by a really big company. But I'm glad she isn't, because I like seeing her in the UK at the moment. Rio, and then Rio.
Okay, David. Will you rather see this match open day two or close day two?
No, I don't think it'll. I think it'll be somewhere. I think it could be the match after the break. I think the ladder match will. I think the battle royal might open.
You're right. I feel like that spot after the interval would be the perfect spot for this match, and it'd be a match everybody would get into going into the second part of the show.
Yeah, I mean, based on their match placement yesterday, they didn't stick a foot wrong, so I don't expect them to today.
Okay, so let's go ahead and start looking at the quarterfinals, and I'm starting here with a match that I'm looking forward to. It's Man Like Doris versus Shelton Benjamin. As much as Leon Slater versus Shelton Benjamin banged yesterday, this match could easily be match of the day.
I'm not being funny. All four could. I'm going Shelton. No, I'm not. No, I'm not at all. I'm talking rubbish. I'm going with Man Like Doris. Based on the
Oh,
import rule.
you're,
Based on the import rule.
you're coming on my side and picking Man Like Doris, my dark horse, to win this tournament, and I have him advancing one more round to get to the semifinal. So, my next question for you, David. What will it take for RJK to defeat Mike Santana? And this match might be the hardest hitting match of day two.
I just think Ricky. I think they're going to push Ricky. They'd be silly not to push Ricky Knight Jr. And they've not been silly at all in this tournament. Santana got a good workout yesterday. Got a really good reception. It's going to be the same today. The crowd loved him. I'm still taking Ricky Knight Jr. to win.
I mean, I do have Ricky Knight Jr. advancing all the way to the final.
Yeah.
So I
So
gotta
you should.
say, I say Mike Santana versus RJK should be a great match. Something you should go out and see. But RJK is going to carry the day here for us.
Well, you look at those first two quarters; they're just brilliant. They're going to be good. They can't not
Well,
be.
David, in all fairness, the left hand side of that bracket was the hardest side of the bracket. If you look at
Yeah.
of all the people that were named in that bracket. Let's go on to my next question for you. Can Kid Like Us 2 defeat Luke Jacobs and make a serious run to the final? This is me trying to push this story as far as I can go.
Yeah, no, mate, no. And even more so now, the way they develop that. Unless they're going to sort of like have like us come as the underdog and Luke Jacobs just goes mad based on what he did yesterday. But no, I surely after the storyline they wrote at the end of the show yesterday, now Jacobs has to win it. He has to win it. But they've been so good so far. I'm just going to go with the ride. I'm just really looking forward to the ride. But no, Luke Jacobs all day long.
I'm going to disagree with you, David, because I got a sneaky feeling that Kid Like Us might just come down to the ringside, grab a bacon tray, bam, get his revenge
Yeah,
on
yeah,
Luke
yeah.
Jacobs, and Kid Like Us advance one more round.
Yeah. I mean, that's very feasible, and that's but yeah, but we do look at it quite deeply, and we both have. Yeah, that's very feasible. Is he going to get his revenge? Is he fit enough? Is he there? They can play out all sorts of storylines here, and it's quite obvious they've booked this really, really well.
Okay, David, I saved the best for the last. As will Eddie Dennis versus Tate Mayfair be the match of round two?
No, but it'll be bloody good, and I think Tate advances. You need
You know,
that heel element in there.
In any other year, I would pick Eddie Dennis to beat Tate Mayfair to go to the next round. But like I've been saying for the last 2 weeks, if there's somebody I need to win this tournament, if I had to put this house on the line, it's Tate Mayfair. And I'm not going to jump ship now. I'm going to
No,
ride Tate Mayfair into the final, and we'll come back later this afternoon to see if I'm right and Tate Mayfair has proven all those Progress fans wrong that he is the greatest professional wrestler walking God's green earth.
he's brilliant. He's absolutely brilliant. He was yesterday. He will be today. Now, as I say, it's well documented on here. I love Eddie Dennis personally, professionally, and even if his wife would, like my family, everyone's favourite Welsh headmaster, just brilliant. But I think the way that they're doing this, Tate Mayfair is just brilliant. And I don't think Eddie's the sort of person I think Eddie would, I wouldn't have a problem. I don't know. It's such a great lineup. And I can't, every match, there's a great story to it. And the prospect of more, and that just wonderful, wonderful.
Well, David, I feel like we're in store for a great afternoon of professional wrestling presented by Progress Wrestling. If you're not able to get down to the arena today, make sure you sign up for Progress Demand Plus because you get the benefit of watching this free today just by signing up to Progress Plus on demand. Check that sucker out. It's well worth it.
Oh, yeah, brilliant. It was, I mean, the coverage, the streaming yesterday, certainly from the UK perspective, was there was no issues. I was able to cast it on the big telly upstairs. Just loved it. I mean, it was just brilliant. Oh, brilliant. So yeah, we're going to, I believe, immediately convene as soon as the tournament's over, and we're going to review it and give our thoughts on day two as soon as it's done. I believe, young Sean.
We are going to come back probably 30 minutes after the final pinfall in the main event of day two, and we'll be here to give our thoughts about day two. And before we go, David, I got a sneaky feeling I know who you got. You're going to go Luke Jacobs to win this whole tournament,
I am. Yeah, I am. I
and
have
I'm
to.
going to take Mayfair. So eventually, one of us is going to be right, and one of us is going to be wrong. And David, I'm sorry to say, you're going to be the one that's wrong.
Well, to be fair, if I am and you're right, I'd still go away a relatively happy man.
Well, we'll have to wait and see. But, ladies and gentlemen, that has been Radio Free Professional Wrestling recap of day one of Progress Superstar Style 16.
Watch it.
And get ready for day number two. And come back here later this afternoon to catch our recap. And later on this evening, actually, take it back. Later on, probably early Tuesday morning, there'll be a regular free professional wrestling to catch you up on a very busy weekend of professional wrestling. Until then, this has been Shawn. That's David the Smart Mark. Stay stunning.